I was having a discussion with a college educator. I said to him, African Americans and Hispanic American males have a hard time passing tests that require comprehension of math and algebra, especially with the trade unions. He replied to me, no, that is not totally the reason for not comprehending math and algebra. It is because a lot of young people cannot read or are reading at a low level. My question to all of you is, why does this still happen? What is your action plan to get to the root cause analyses and put forth some real efforts to correct this? Youth Court was introduced to District 205 by myself, Jesse Piskey, and my granddaughter, Ariana Newton, who had went through a similar program at Freeport High School. Ariana talked to the Human Service Committee and a group of students in District 205 about Youth Court and how it works. Not only do we need to transform Rockford, we need to transform District 205.
Thank you. Thank you, Elsie. Reverend Anthony Greer, be followed by Apostle Brown.
Good evening. We're here again to discuss the behaviors of this district. First and foremost, as I looked at the mission, vision, and values, one of the statements was that the district must be good stewards of taxpayers' money. I have a question. There's 8 retired principals that we bring back to work in this district that's receiving a TRS retirement plus district wages at $250 to $300 a day. On average, the pairs make $14,000 a year in a 10-month span. Within 6 months, these people can make anywhere from $30,000 to $35,000. Where is the good stewardship with that? Also, students will feel valued and empowered to reach their full potential. What is full potential when there's no view of African American staff in leadership positions and all young black men are being on the top of the arrest list? Every student and staff have the right to work and be in a safe, secure, and nurturing environment. What is a nurturing environment when we have half your black staffs are being dismissed without full opportunity to serve our children, and instead of feeding all of our children, we're feeding the children that are misplacing money, water, and crackers? How many African American administrators have retired from this district? I bet you no one can tell us, because there has not been one that has been retired and been brought back to work in the place of these principals that we're missing. Who will replace West, Auburn, East, and any other school? Will we have any African American males be replaced there? We have several that's in place waiting for getting a job, but I guarantee you they will be overlooked. Goal 4 was a quality staff retention. We would rather retain those that cost us thousands of dollars that violate school policies and release those that empower, embrace, and encourage. We have already failed the mission, values, and goals, so it's time for a new leader. It's time for the cabinet to step down. We need a new superintendent.
We thank you, District 205, for giving us this opportunity to speak to you. I want to speak about the graduation rate of PSAE, which is 39%, ISAT, which is 41%, graduation rate, which is 68%, reading for college is 28%, graduation for blacks are 59%, graduation rate for black males is 61%. Graduation for black females is 75%. And the Spanish community is 70%. Males 61%. Females 75%. And our board is happy with those numbers. And we're paying a district, our $210,000 per year for I can't say his name, but anyway, we need to really look at that. The other thing I want to say, we have ministers that are forming Minister Alliance to talk to the board that does not represent the community. because they have not went out and talked to the community. So we do not want those pastors to stand with the board and meeting in back rooms, and the community does not know what they're meeting about. So when they come out with a resolution, we don't know nothing about what they have decided to agree with you on. So we hope that you meet with all pastors, and the pastors are really concerned about our children that are in school and the graduation rate, that we can get a better board here. Thank you very much.
Henry, to be followed by Yaqub Mohammed. Sorry, may not have said that properly.
Just want to bring back the attention of the utter failure of this school board. Some of these statistics are deplorable. You have a 47% black male special ed graduation rate. You have 80% of a black and Latino population, but less than 5% of the teachers are black. There's no place in America you can go where you will find a majority white students being governed by all black anything or anything of that stat. So we are dealing with a situation here where really we're not coming to ask you for anything. How can you have 68% of the children in the schools graduate, then the schools are labeled a dropout factory? So as the black community, we understand that if white America gets a cold, black America gets pneumonia. So we are now in a situation where we're not really here to ask for anything. We're not really here to discuss what it is that you can do for you. You have a track record being a school board in Rockford, and we know you. And it would be foolish of us to think that a snake would stop slithering and that a snake would one day walk upright. So we are here to let the notice be known that we're not about to deal or ask you for justice. We don't expect it to come from you. There's a track record in this city which goes into the history of America. When blacks came here, blacks in the attitude and the mind state towards blacks 400 years ago when blacks were enslaved. Well, you say it's different now, but according to the numbers and statistics, the intentions and the motives and the mind state of the school board is no different now than it was 400 years ago. So we would be foolish to sit here and think that you would give us some type of justice. We don't want to sit at no table with you. We don't want to come to you with no petition. We don't have nothing to talk about. We can't expect you to change. It is our fault now that we have depended on that which has been undependable since we've been here. And so this is another notice to let you know that the mistreatment of our educators and the mistreatment of our children will no longer be tolerated. That's all I have to say. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Henry. Yaqub Mohammed, to be followed by Allison Wong. Allison Wang, to be followed by Deanne Baldwin.
Well, good evening, everyone. And so I'm just going to say here, I think that the board is doing an excellent job in rewarding contracts when it comes to construction. When there was basically almost no money, the board was able to rub two fingers together and create the goal to spend on new buildings. It's marvelous that RPS is expanding, although on borrowed money. RPS is upsurging, ascending, and growing. However, we cannot afford to forget what made Rockford strong in the first place, our manufacturing. With companies such as Hamilton Sundstrand, Woodward, Governor, and Ingersoll, Rockford has always been on the bleeding edge of industrial innovation, complemented by rigorous math and science education aimed towards creating the next generation of innovators and engineers. And in RPS 205 recent years, fundamental math and science classes have been diluted to create easier vocational courses. And this isn't just applied to math and science courses. This has also been happening with English and reading classes. Their standards have been cut as well. More students are graduating, but they find themselves without the skills to succeed in the workplace. Manufacturers are increasingly forced to look elsewhere in order to find the talent they need to support their operations. This is not something that we should be proud of. Should we not try to keep up the rigor of education? The question is, will Rockford be able to keep up with its competitors overseas in the 21st century? Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. Deanne Baldwin.
Good evening to the board and administration. You know, my face is not new. I've been advocating for African American students and equity in general for years. You all know why we're here. You know what the situation is. And most importantly, you know you would not tolerate these stats and situations if it were flip-flopped, if it were white students who were having the brunt of all of these struggles in this district and in this city. You know you wouldn't tolerate it. Parents Partnering for Equity in Education has tried to meet with this administration and board for years. And even up until weeks ago, we've asked to meet with the current superintendent, who has just outright refused. We attempted on many occasions to address the multitude of policies that lend itself to the historical and current state of disparities between African American students and the white subgroup, particularly, as well as the disparity of African American students as compared to the number of African American teachers and principals. Policies such as the retention policy that fails numerous African American students at the middle and high school level as opposed to the elementary level. The zone policy, which resulted in kids walking in sub-zero weather last week and Monday from the intersection of Rockton and Halstead all the way to West Middle School, while I watched Marshall and Montessori schools chauffeur in 30 buses of students. Some of those buses only had 3 students on a bus. How dare you? We also have looked at the discipline policy, which has displaced African American students. Some have no return date. Shame on you. But we're here to let you know it stops. It stops today. Thank you.
Thank you, Deanna.